Okay, so we're removing some peel and stick tile. This is a 1978 house. This is 40-year-old stuff. The adhesive underneath it is 40 years old. So one tip about using these scrapers. Right? Firstly, don't get anything bigger than 4 inch. They have scrapers that are 18 inches. They have scrapers that are 10 inches, 8 inches. You don't want that, because you're taking on so much more of the floor, and it takes so much more force that it will wear you out very quickly. Second tip about these is, you see they have 2 sides. You kind of see this? You have to put this side down. Now, whichever, you can orient the blade to where this beveled edge is on either way, whichever way you prefer to work, both ways. But the main thing is you can't have this on the upside, because if you do, as soon as you hit, it stops it right there. And then it's going to start to jam stuff up underneath between the blade and the steel here. And then this is going to deform. I know, I've done it. And then it won't sit flat anymore. So this part has to be up. That's the way it's designed. Everything will kind of slide off of these rounded screws here. Second tip is, don't use excessive force. All you're going to do is just hit it, just get it going. But you really just the weight of your arm, you're not really trying to, put a lot of force into it. If you put a lot of force into it, what's going to happen is you're going to wear yourself out very quickly. So you have to manage your energy level, or you're going to want to quit after 15 or 20 minutes or half an hour. This way you can do it for hours at a time, and it's not going to wear you out. Don't try to take it out in one shot. So this is like a stubborn piece here. Sometimes you get a piece that's really stuck on. Just be patient. Be patient. So right here you can see that the glue got a really good bond to the concrete and to the tile. It didn't let go of either one of them. So you basically just carving the thing off, right? Usually what happens is the glue will let go of either the concrete or the tile. One of the two will let go of it first, and it makes it easier to come off. But this was the stubborn area, about right here. Really hard to get off. So to get it off, just don't take the whole 4 inches. Just get yourself an inch or so, or 2, whatever you can get off. And again, keep this end facing down, or this is going to fill up very quickly between the blade and the steel there. So taking on less of it. You can get it off that way. Okay, so you're going to want, you don't have to have this, you can scoop the stuff up or try to sweep it up. But I think it's handy. This is only a $10 shovel at the supply store, and it's just a flathead. The old school way of taking these tile up is to just use this. I don't think you should try it, especially if you got stuff that, if your stuff is not adhered very well, this might work. But you're taking on more than twice as much as this little scraper, and as you can see, it's pretty tough going. So I just use this to clean up with. So there were several things I did to manage my energy level. Because if you don't manage your energy level, you're just going to burn out. You're going to want to take constant breaks, and you'll just get a lot less done. It's better to work consistently at a little slower pace than to continue stopping, because you lose your momentum and your sense of accomplishment. So one of the things I did was I turned the air conditioner down to like 75. Make sure it's nice and cool in here. Got a fan blowing on me, so it's comfortable. Got some ice water, refreshment, whatever. And I also would just stop periodically. Stop because it really gets old. That scraper just kind of wears you out, even if you work it slower. So stop, clean up, take a break from it. But your break is actually, you're working, but you're taking a break from Okay, here's the finished product. I left the landing, I'm going to take that out tomorrow. Here it is. Peel and stick tile is no more. So the problem now is, how do you get rid of the adhesive? There are a number of ways that I've gleaned in my research, looking on YouTube and different websites. You can take boiling hot 220-degree water, pour it on, and then wait, a little while, and then scrape it off with a razor scraper. If you have a relatively small space, maybe a bathroom or just a small room, that might work. It's the cheapest option. Definitely try it first. For a big area like this, I think for how long it would take to continually boil the water, and then you're taking a risk of burning yourself because you're carrying this stuff back and forth. I don't think it's a viable option for this situation. The best way, honestly, and it's something I would do if I had to do it again, I would simply rent a concrete grinder. You can get, I think it's the Edco or whatever, something like that at Home Depot. But no one had one locally, so I would have to do like a 2-hour drive to get one, and so I didn't wind up doing that. But that's the easiest, quickest way because it's just a one-step process. Bam, you resurface the concrete. So a couple of the tools I think are worth mentioning. Firstly, the scraper, which has 1,001 uses. This one is the Warner, and I got this at Lowe's. Really great scraper. Firstly, it's very windswept here, so nothing really catches on it, and it has 3 screws instead of 2 or even 1 for some other scrapers. So it really does a nice job of holding that blade. Secondly, to change the blade, it's got this handy little Phillips, so you don't have to go for another tool. Just keep your blades handy. And then the other thing is this. You can do this, so you can scrape if you want to scrape from a standing position. Granted, you can't put a ton of pressure on it, so you can put much more pressure when you're down here at its level, but still, it's a viable option. It's the only one of its kind in existence in the universe that I could find that actually has that. And then the type of brush I chose. I realize that some people are going to maybe one of the traditional long ones or whatever works for you. I would try different ones, see which one works best. This one, all the bristles are really, it's just a little wire brush, like $3 at Lowe's, and they're really tightly together. So this does a very intense job and it doesn't splash the acetone around that much. So this one I thought was really good. It's done a great job. I've used it for everything so far. Okay, so here are the 4 things that I have tried. Jasco paint remover, Citristrip. This is $45 a gallon, 15 bucks for this. This is $20 for 64 ounces. This is for the adhesive. This is $30 a gallon. And then of course acetone, this is about $17 a gallon. So these 2 were for paint. They're good strippers. They do strip paint. The issue is when paint is on concrete, which is very porous, it's down into there, and so you can't get it all off with these, no matter how much you try. It just doesn't really want to work. I guess you can maybe try a wire brush with it, but it really is pretty much of a mess to try it that way. So they're good strippers, but not really great for concrete. For adhesive, this is good stuff. I mean, this will do a couple of maybe 12 by 13, 14 rooms. What you do is you take a paint roller and you roll it on. You want to roll it on as thick as, pretty thick, a good 1/64 inch, so you can really see that it's on there. And you got to leave it at least 4 hours. What I did was I did an overnight soak, and that really worked out well. I came in the morning. I didn't really have any air blowing on it, so it stayed relative. It was still slightly moist when I came in, and the adhesive just came right up. Okay guys, this is the Citristrip $30 a gallon floor adhesive remover. It took me, it's a pretty big space. You got this, I measured it, it's about 350 square feet. It took me a couple of bottles of this, so about 60 bucks. Right, you want to let it soak, preferably overnight, but a minimum, I say, of 4 to 6 hours. Don't listen to the box, they say 1 to 3. Go longer, you'll be happier. This is where this is the scraper I showed you before, and this is where this handle really pays off, because you can do this from a standing position. Just comes right out, no issue. Okay, so this is a really simple tool, right? But a couple of tips that'll help you to use it better. First, you want to avoid doing this kind of thing. You don't want to do that because it's going to dull the blade really quick, and you go through blades fast enough as it is. So you just want to do a nice stroke like this. And you can see this adhesive remover is actually removing all this 40-year-old paint and everything. Doing a nice job. Still got a little bit of stuff you might have to use some acetone to clear up. The other thing about this is you want to turn it, because you'll notice, right, you go a few strokes and then it seems like it's not as sharp anymore. And it's actually sharpening it for the other side. You turn this around, you can feel that this will do a little bit better. It just means you have to use less force, to make it work. So turn it every few times until you feel like it's not doing any good anymore to turn it, and then you're pretty much ready to change blades at that point. But if you want one-stop shopping, right, this is going to take off all the paint, all the adhesive, all the drywall mud, everything in one step. It is time consuming, so if you can get a couple of friends to help you, do that.
Okay, so here are the glasses that I use. This is also a $30 3M breather. You have to have that to do this. You have to have that. But you're going to waste a lot of brain cells. Alright, so this is areas I've already done. I'll show you this area right here. Sports are on. This is an old blue bottle, so any sport bottle will work. Don't try to use a sprayer, it will destroy it. Even the chemically resistant ones, it will destroy very quickly. That's it. Wipe it off. And it's finished. All the adhesive, all the paint, all the drywall. Now sometimes there's a little spot that you might have to hit again. But basically it's kind of one step. It just takes it right out. And there it is.
Take a little spot here. Paper towel. And you got beer coming. In one step.